Oh, hi everyone, didn't see you there. Welcome to the latest episode of the ZMan show. Don't mind me, I'm just refocusing my spirit, grinding my meditation points up. Wanna know why? Well, because I'm in a Sega mood, and I'm in the Sega mood because I'm going to Sega Festival 2019. That's right, everybody. I am going to Sega's own gaming festival in the promised land of Akihabara, Japan. And I'm pretty excited about that, so I gotta make sure my meditation, my mental points, my charisma points are on point for Sega Festival and Tokyo and Akihabara. So while I go back on my grind, you can check out this new video of Phantasy Star for the Sega Master System. I'll see you on the other side, everybody. Oh. Sega systems didn't get the same glut of JRPGs that the NES, Super NES, and later the PlayStation would get. I will say that the few JRPGs that Sega consoles did get were really damn good, like the coveted Panzer Dragoon Saga for the Saturn, or the phenomenal Skies of Arcadia for the Dreamcast. But the series that many associate with Sega and JRPGs is Phantasy Star. I'm sure a lot of you out there know Phantasy Star for Phantasy Star Online, a game for the GameCube and the Dreamcast that many spent long nights playing trying to get all the loot in the world. Seriously, play this game after playing games like Anthem or Destiny, and you'll see a lot of influence from Phantasy Star Online on those two titles. The only difference is, Phantasy Star Online is actually pretty damn fun. Anthem, load of wank. Unfortunately, I'm not talking about Phantasy Star Online in this episode, but I want to go back to the origins of this franchise. Where did Phantasy Star Online come from? It came from a humble little game known as Phantasy Star 1 for the Sega Master System. Even in the Sega fandom, it's a very overlooked title. Probably because its sequels on the Genesis were just so much better in terms of design, gameplay, story, and all that good stuff. And probably because it's an 8-bit RPG on the Sega Master System. A system that got its back blown out by the NES in North America, but did do well in Brazil and Europe. This is the version we're playing on the Nintendo Switch, the Sega Ages version. It's a very nice re-release with some new features, and well, it's on the Nintendo Switch, which automatically makes it amazing. So, no time like the present, let's take a look at Phantasy Star 1 for the Sega Master System, being played on the Nintendo Switch. So what's the plot of the game? After all, JRPGs need a good plot. Alice, the main heroine, her brother got killed by LASIK, and no, LASIK is not laser eye surgery, he's the main bad guy. And just like that, Alice decides she wants revenge, and she's off on an adventure. There's your plot, now let's get grinding. First impressions of Phantasy Star were bad. Alice starts out very weak. She's armed with the equivalent of armor made out of papier-mâché and a sword made out of connected Crayola markers. Straying from the path at all will lead you to a battle where death is inevitable. The first hour or so will be spent grinding for Meseta to get better weapons and supplies. And get ready to grind like you're playing Tony Hawk with the infinite grind cheats on. Even when you get to the point where you and your party are well fitted out with better weapons and plenty of supplies, it's always a good idea to grind, as you want to be higher level than your opponents, and you always want better weapons when you can get the opportunity to do so. With the open nature of the game, it's pretty easy to go into an area where you're not supposed to go and just get one-shotted. Though I will say that Phantasy Star 1, once you get it going, once you get your party footed out, it isn't quite as hard or as grindy as Phantasy Star 2. On another note, I love how the healers in this game are burgers and cola. Nice. That's right, burgers and soda. Truly, 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 the warrior's diet. So, who's in our party? The star of the show is Alice. She's on the volleyball team, her favorite artist is Heart, and she enjoys baking cakes that she can eat in one sitting. She's a balanced warrior that packs good offense, defense, and can learn magic. Meow is a cat thing that can talk and likes playing with string. Meow has solid offense and packs some defensive magic like knocking glasses off the table. Odin is the warrior who had to repeat the 3rd grade twice. While he lacks the knowledge and magic, he makes up for in offense and the ability to use multiple weapons such as swords, axes, or guns. The last member is Noah, a magician who spends his weekends getting dominated at the local BDSM club. Seriously, look at his face, that's the look of a man who's a total sub. Despite that, he has low defense but has plenty of magic to keep the monsters at bay. You don't get all the party members right away, it does take a while to get everyone into the party ready to go. But my favorite part is trying to get Meow into the party, as you have to trade a bunch of weed to get him. Man, this is some good shit. I think I heard the cat talking to me, man. Cause it is talking to you, you fucking hippie. Whoa, man, like chill, you want a chocodile? It's a Twinkie dipped in chocolate, man. No, I don't want a chocodile, you fucking druggie. The plot of Phantasy Star 1 is pretty weak. It's just kill LASIK. It starts out as revenge for Alice and her brother, but the more we play the game, the more we learn that LASIK is kind of an asshole. Lasik is the kind of guy who picks his boogers then wipes them on the couch. He shakes the beer in the refrigerator at parties. He doesn't flush the toilet in public restrooms. He counterfeits jeans on the side. What utter scum. Combat is simple. This is an early JRPG, so a lot of contemporary mechanics like status effects, buffing, debuffing, affinity, knowing who is next in battle, choosing different targets, guarding, are not here in Phantasy Star 1. And that's both a good thing and a bad thing depending on where you stand. There's less to worry about, so you can just focus on offense, defense, and healing. But at the same time though, there is little strategy to the combat besides attack, attack, attack. Bosses and rare encounters do need a bit more elbow grease to defeat, but I cleared most bosses just by mashing attack and taking or dodging most hits, using burgers and healing spells when necessary. The wall and protect skills are very essential, as they are the only ways to block enemy attacks. And unless I'm missing something, there was no way to recover MP in the field, so you gotta use your magic wisely. Fleeing is rarely recommended unless you're totally outgunned, as the experience and money gained from battle adds up very quickly and makes playing Phantasy Star 1 much easier in the long run. As primitive as the combat is, it's weirdly addicting. There's just something about the simple and fast combat that keeps me coming back for more. I like the monster designs, and they have some really cool animations. And it's nice that the ghouls from the Thriller music video managed to find work after that video was done. Without elaborate animations to go through, most battles are clear within a few minutes, and with the constant promise of more experience and Meseta, it's very rewarding to keep playing more battles. Some games you play for loot, some games you play for the story, but for me, Phantasy Star 1 was all about getting better weapons and going deeper into the dungeons of Phantasy Star. 8-bit JRPGs are known for being a bit obtuse and a bit grindy, and that definitely applies to Phantasy Star 1. I think people in the 80s had way more free time than I do now, as there's a lot of cryptic stuff in this game. Like this boss, you have to get defeated by it in order to progress. Like, how was I supposed to know that, assholes? See this lava field? You think you would get something like, I don't know, some boots or hovercraft to fly across it, but no, you gotta nut up and take the damage and get epilepsy from lava. On the Sega Ages version of Phantasy Star, there's a map for the dungeons, but if you're playing the Master System version or another version of the game, you better grab a paper and a pen, as you need to map out these dungeons, and it's very easy to get lost in thanks to these same looking backgrounds. Doors that you have to unlock don't stay unlocked, so you have to keep using that dungeon key over and over and over again. There's no item management or bulk selling items. And most annoyingly, there's no stats for weapons or armor. What's more powerful, a laser sword or a ceramic sword? If it wasn't for the handy list of weapons and items provided in the Ages version, I wouldn't know. And also, thank Gaia that game facts exists. I know I'm making complaints about a game older than I am, but I gotta warn the people before they play this game. I do have to say, as old and dated as Phantasy Star 1 is, I am having a blast with this title. Its simplicity is much appreciated in an era where games are bloated with mechanics that don't add anything to the experience. Looking at you, Kingdom Hearts 3, you overblown bastard. For an 8-bit game, the graphics are awesome, the 3D dungeons look really damn good, and you gotta love the Master System color palette. I'm not one for fantasy settings, but the mix of sci-fi and fantasy gives Phantasy Star a unique charm that other JRPGs of the time just didn't have. And the most notable part of the game is Alice herself. She's one of the earliest leading ladies in video games, and a badass one at that. Her quest isn't one for the D, or the V if she swings that way. We don't assume here on the ZMan show, nor is she out for treasure. No, Alice is out for blood, and is steadfast in her quest. Unlike other heroines these days who are played for fan service, Alice is carried by her will and her resolve. Plus, look at that cover art. She looks like He-Man fused with Avril Lavigne after she fell off the wagon. Phantasy Star as a series got better and better as the years got on, but don't sleep on the origin of the franchise. Phantasy Star 1 is a classic JRPG, and one that deserves at least one playthrough. Whoa. The review is over? Okay. Everybody, how's it going? So, Phantasy Star 1, it was a pretty fun game. But the thing about it, RPGs, when I think about them, they're probably aged the worst in terms of gameplay design. I think RPGs age horribly over time. A lot of those early 8-bit games were nothing but grind fests. And when you play modern, contemporary JRPGs like, say, Persona 5 or a Dragon Quest, whatever number they're on now, they're so much easier to get into. That said though, Phantasy Star on the Switch, the Sega Ages version, is relatively accessible, and I do recommend it if you're a JRPG fan. But yeah, again, get the Sega Ages version. It has an easy mode, it has an FM sound, and overall it's just a really fantastic version of this legendary game. And on that note, I think the review is done. With Sega being interested in bringing back some of their old IPs for a new generation, like they've already confirmed that a new Sakurai Tyson's in the can. I'm hoping they bring back more of their older IPs, like say Phantasy Star, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Skies of Arcadia. Man can dream, but maybe Sega will wake up to smell the OJ and bring back some of their new titles for the Nintendo Switch. Especially the Switch, because I really love the Nintendo Switch, if you haven't learned by now. Anyway, guys, I think that's it for this review. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell as well. Remember to hit me up on Twitch, Twitter, Patreon, Instagram, all at ZMangs, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Z-Man Show. And don't worry, we'll get back to some more AAA shit in a few weeks. I just had to get my spiritual points up before I could do that. So, see you next week, everybody. Later. Back to grinding. Oh.